you're alive.
Welcome to another edition of the Trelawny Major League Top 6 Recap Show. We have here tonight Dwight Jeremiah, and also on our panel we have Shelley and Taylor. We flew in for Invaders. Unfortunately, Invaders didn't make it, but we're still excited, I suppose, to see the competition, see the playoffs tomorrow. How excited are you?
Very excited. This is my first time.
Yeah, I wanted to blame Mosley for not having to see your team, but since your team isn't in the playoffs, who are you most excited to see?
Harmony.
Harmony. To concur with her, or are you going for another team?
Maybe Harmony or Marsh.
Alright, let's see. Jerry. I didn't hear them say Holland.
Well, it's a good thing. Sometimes you pleasantly surprise people, so they'll come on board and they think Marsh, who is the team in form, a lot of persons know them. Harmony is closer to Invaders, being that it's in that area. So I am confident once they see Holland tomorrow, they will install Holland as their favorite team. They see a lot of youngsters as well. So yeah, for sure. Not surprised, but especially Shelley, she will probably associate herself more with Holland because she'll see a lot of youngsters on that.
Well, let's look back at the competition and the entire season. We had Duansville having a good season, top of the league. Marsh second, Holland third. They'll be in the playoffs tomorrow, finishing third. Harmony fourth, Cooperspec fifth, and Jacksontown making a late run to get into the top 6. Now tomorrow we'll have Harmony playing Cooperspec in that first game at 1:30, and Holland taking on Jacksontown. But in terms of the competition and how it was, Jeremiah, how was that competition throughout the season? Quality of play, in your estimation, being the team analyst that you are?
Before I get into the quality of play that took place throughout the competition, I just want to speak a little bit about the aesthetic of it, and it's right that I start there, because when you look at the panel tonight, yes, we're two gentlemen here, but I think the aesthetic has been significantly improved by having two lovely ladies on set. So the aesthetic of the competition is important to start there. I think Trelawny Major League, and to give it the right title, the Duncan's Complex Wickham Major League in Western Jamaica is the flagship major league of football competition. And when you look at it, you talk about St. James, St. Anne's, Hanover, Westmoreland, all of these parishes put together, they also concur that the league in Trelawny is by far the most aesthetically pleasing competition. And that's because, as you can see behind us, our backdrop, with the amount of sponsors, associate sponsors and sponsors that we have. And none of the other leagues in this region, and I dare say, you probably would have to count on one finger the amount of leagues in Jamaica that is carried live on a regular basis. So we have a lot of spectators and fans. Our two fans on set just flew down from the US, and I was in the US just that Sunday, and I was watching my team play while I was waiting in the airport for a flight.
I heard your team played better when you were away.
Well, that's good, because great leaders, they say you're not a good leader if you don't create great leaders. So I mean, that's probably what happened with Invaders, why they're not in the playoffs, because when Mosley is not there, they falter a lot. So I mean, sometimes you have persons who like to just own up the leadership. For me, it's about spreading the knowledge and creating other leaders. So I want to be able to be all over the place, and my team does well, and that's always good. But the key for it is, on the day when a team plays well, it's not on the day that all the work is done. All the work was done long before that. So it's a culmination of work and training and all of that. So that's always good. But yeah, I go back to it because I have to give credit to the sponsors. And there's you can see them on the step and repeat behind us. But to be able to to have a competition sponsored to the tune of about $5.5 million, with $3.5 million going directly to teams in terms of gears given, the whole uniformity of the competition in terms of every team in a particular gear designed in a similar way. That to me was massive. And what the teams got. So we weren't just giving the winning team all the money, but we spread the wealth so that we can ensure that we have 10 or 9 really good teams well supported. So that for me was massive. In terms of the competition though, I think it was very competitive, and the format really makes for interesting, because normally you go with a top 4. I mean, you said you play football as a striker. Normally, I think in your competition you'd want to make the semi-finals to make sure that you're in it. Yeah. This one goes beyond the semi-final. It goes to the top 6. So even at the last round of games played, which was on Wednesday, and then on Friday, there was still team that was in 8th position.
If we had Jacksontown making that
Jacksontown was in 7th position and still had a chance, and they end up squeezing into the top 6. And before that, the week before that, they were in 9th or 8th position and still came in to make that top 6. So there was an excitement in that latter part of the competition. One of them picked Marsh. Marsh was sitting pretty happy and didn't have to worry about anything. They already made the semi-finals. But if we had gone with just the top 4, then there wouldn't be any excitement in the last set of games. So there's a top 6, and that makes it great for the competition, and it keeps the integrity of the competition, so no teams want to give away any points. So that was really good. So I think Jacksontown is a dangerous team at the moment, because they have the wind. They had the wind in their sails. But for the overall running of the competition, I think Mr. Mosley, who was at the Jacksontown Cooper's Pen game, I don't think he was there just as a spectator wanting to see good football. He was praying and hoping that Jacksontown would have lost to Cooper's Pen. I don't think his relatives came down early enough with the US dollars for him to be able to buy out that one. But no, there was no match fixing in that one. So
should have come down
just a little bit earlier. He needed a little bit more greenbacks to be able to pay out that one. But it didn't happen for him. But at that game, I mean, it showed that how good the competition was, and he was there to see it happen. But Jacksontown just sneaked into that top 6, which means they are the team with the momentum. And I know Holland United plays them tomorrow, and it's a dangerous team to play at that time. I mean, Holland themselves know what it's like to just sneak in and win a competition. So
and as soon as we invite some of the representatives from the team to come on set, I guess we will look more at how maybe Holland would be worried about that form that Jacksontown is in coming into the competition. But it is a good look for the competition, as you said, streaming and all of that. And especially we're looking at the semi-finals and finals being played at the Trelawny Sports Complex. Good surface. We've seen how the Trelawny Sports Complex have now evolved into what it should be, a multi-purpose sports complex. And with football there now, it is just exciting. I know you had a great final last year.
We did.
Talked about. So I expect that we're looking at the same thing.
We're looking for a mega final this year. I know we're in a little bit of a jam because we had to bring our finals forward from the 29th. We initially went to the 22nd. Now we're at the 15th. We're still hoping that it could still yet happen on the 22nd, because our sponsor, title sponsor, Duncan's Complex, they want to make it a mega thing, and they need a little bit more time to be able to put their plans in place. So that is something that we want to work on. And you talk about the Trelawny Multipurpose Stadium. Outside of the Major League, the Trelawny Football Association is actively working behind the scene with a fertilizer company to try and get the surface to be much better than it is. And Shelly would talk to it. She's a striker. She wants to know when the ball comes across, there's no bubble, so that she can just hit it through the line and score goals. And as you mentioned, Jacksontown, I wanted to get her viewpoint on momentum. What it's like as a striker when you're scoring a lot of goals going into a crucial game. Does that give you a lot more confidence and the momentum? Because Jacksontown now has the momentum of winning games and getting points that they want against good teams too. I mean, how much value do you put on momentum going into a game?
It's one of the most important pieces, but I feel like the pressure also, either you crack under pressure or you rise above to kind of put your team where you needed to be. And at moments like this, that's what's most important, like who's going to rise above.
A quick one to follow with that before you jump in. So okay, it's about who rise above. So what do you think the confidence in terms of which players or what attributes are important for the players to be able to rise above that pressure game? What is it that they need? You're a striker, you're going into a game, you know that your team needs 2 goals to go on to the next leg. What is important for you in preparing for that game to ensure that in that pressure game, you get those 2 goals for your team as a striker?
I feel like some of the most important things is knowing that your team is going to first be there to support you and set you up so you can make those goals for your team. And just being aggressive, like that's what's going to be important. Aggressively going against teams that are all competing for that top spot, so it's important that you're just very aggressive on it.
Okay, awesome. And I know Taylor there is more of a track athlete, but the quarter mile which she ran is one of the most grueling events, and that too requires, and I'm happy that she didn't touch skills, she touched aggression, and it's all about attitude for her. I mean, what other attributes would you speak to Taylor in terms of going into a high pressure game or a high pressure race?
I would say the same. I also would think that you would have to have heart. Because you just never know what might happen, but if you always have your mind on the right, goal, it'll happen. But I most definitely agree with her. I know she didn't let you touch on skills, but I think the aggression is the top one, and just the confidence that you got it. Y'all gonna win. I feel like once you tell yourself that it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen.
Yep, that's true. Because skill can be taught. You can teach somebody skill, but certain things like aggression and like having the heart, like she said, certain things can't be taught. You just have to develop it.
But I tell you what, I mean, you're showing some attributes that I don't get from Mosley. This is certainly a sports. I mean, I'm hitting Mosley hard here, but no, it's good because what I'm getting is, I mean, we couldn't pick a better panelist here tonight because, I mean, when you talk about, I mean, I do it nationally for Sportsmax and rank among the best in the country here as an analyst, but just listening to these ladies here, they could accompany me on such national stage as well, because I agree with her, you cannot teach that. I mean, you bring that, players bring that, and sometimes as a coach myself, I select a player not because he's the most talented, but because on the day, he's the one looking like he has an obsession with it, he has a desire, he has an aggression.
Yes.
So spot on. I'm thinking, Mosley, I know she's worked with you, and both of them have worked with you, but Holland is actively recruiting persons from the staff, so don't be surprised if we buy them out here. But yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent analysis from the ladies, I can tell you. Great. Yeah.
And as they said, we can't teach intangibles. You're born with it or you're not.
Yeah.
Now, let's look ahead to the games coming up tomorrow. Now, Holland playing Jackson in the late game. But first, the early kickoff, we're looking at Harmony playing Cooper's Pen. Now, Harmony playing Cooper's Pen it should be an exciting match. We know a lot of goals conceded and all that. Sometimes that makes for the excitement. We saw that in the Champions League finals, and all of that. But we're looking forward to that. I would like to invite maybe one of the teams to our panel.
Well, Harmony is here, so Taylor's going to take leave?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was saying that the person's good.
Let's have Harmony.
But so both ladies will take a leave, they're saying, and probably come back if we want something critical. Because guess what? We want to know how to score goals, so we might just invite Shelly back.
Yeah, we might invite
Thank you
Shelly
very
back.
much. Thank you very much. Must have been a wily striker too. She's small, so must have a lot of skills.
Yep.
So, yes, Harmony's representative is here. Yeah.
Good night. Pleased to have you here. You must be looking forward to the games tomorrow.
I am.
Want to state your name and position for the viewers?
My name is Miss Caitlin Gillens, and I'm the sports coordinator for the Harmony Football Club.
Alright. And you have that early kickoff tomorrow against Cooper's Pen. Harmony, finishing fourth, scoring quite a number of goals, but conceding quite a lot of goals too. But looking good so far in the competition. And you want to peak at the right time, I suppose, and get the win tomorrow and get into that semifinals. So let's hear what you have to say about that.
We started out rather slow because we had a major setback when we lost our manager of the team in the early segment of the competition. And it did hit us hard, and it affected the games and the results that we got in the first segment of the season. First segment of the season. We were losing rapidly. Just games after games, we just could not find our correct rhythm. But to the end, and I must applaud at this point my team on doing such a very, very, very good. We did not know, we did not even imagine that we would be in the playoffs, and we did it. And we are going in tomorrow to win, to get a win. We are going to the semi-finals. I can say that for myself and my team.
I like the confidence, rallying the team together and stating on air, we are going in the semi-finals. I think we need to have that posted somewhere. Going in the semi-finals.
We're going in. We're definitely going in.
Any changes in terms of, I know you're not a coach, in terms of the personnel and maybe tactically, that would have propelled you from that time when you were in a little bit of slump? I know it was off the field issues, with losing your manager, but in terms of any changes and maybe the team getting stronger because more personnel come in, or the team getting fitter, or anything of that sort?
I would say we have gone to get a better team, stronger team. We have our players, but they weren't there. I can imagine they may see us going down for senior members, and the harmony that we are. They said, okay, no, we're not going to be going down like that. And like I said, we have made a pledge to do it for our manager, our last manager, deceased manager. And as a result, people came out and did what they should do.
And as the name Harmony suggests, you guys came together.
Yes.
And I suspect it's the same sort of energy you want to bring into the semi-finals. So I guess Couples Ben have a lot to be worried about.
Yes, I should think so. They do.
I wish they were here tonight.
They definitely do, yes. We're going in with all we've got.
I know they must be on street, online, looking in. Couples Ben, beware, you're ready to go.
We're coming.
All right. Coming hard at you guys. So, all the best for tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Before you, I'm not gonna let her have that easy to because it's important that she sort of give me some perspective into Harmony going into this game. I mean, I look at the results and the analyst that I am, or the tactician as some would call it. Your last two games are lost to Holland and a draw against an Invaders team that was fighting to get into that top 6 spots, which maybe that drawn game is what cost them in the end. You were trailing 3-1 in that game and you lost 2-1 to Holland. Is there any concern for you as the manager looking on that you would have seen in those two games that, despite your confidence now, makes you a little bit concerned with your team because of the way they looked in those last 2 games?
Yes, there is. And we have addressed it. We have addressed the loss with Holland, especially. And the last game, we played the last game a bit laid back because we're confident that we have already gone through. So there was not too much of a pressure on that game per se. But as for Holland game, we saw where we went wrong, we saw our mistakes, and we are coming for the spend tomorrow.
She's not losing that.
We are coming back for the semi-finals.
You're coming back for the semi-finals?
Yes, that I am sure of.
It sounds like she have asked the grind with Holland.
Well, the good thing is at this stage, she'll have a long time to sharpen that ox, because if she's going to meet Holland, it's likely that she would have to come in the finals if Holland were to get there. But again, another thing, against Cooper Spain, which you're facing now, you did face them once this season because they were not in your zone. Some would say you got lucky because Cooper Spain self-destruct. You were leading a goal to nil. It was a slender lead, and Cooper Spain, in a way, they got 4 yellow cards, all their own doing, fighting amongst themselves. I mean, you may not get that lucky this time around with the game being called off in that way. But do you anticipate this Cooper Spain team coming at you to try and right the wrong that they had against you in that ill-fated game?
The game was ours even before the war that they had started. It was actually ours, and whoever was watching knew that the game was ours. So the game was ours. So no, we're not threatened by anything. We're just going to go tomorrow and win that game.
I have one final question. I'm not going to rig you too hard. I mean, I know when I was listening to the interview with your coach, at the time I was watching the interview, I think I was all the way in Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. But the thing is, I heard him say in the interview that at the end of the day, I think against Holland they sort of ran out of steam, and there were more senior players on the back. I know Harmony has a lot of youngsters in their ranks still. Are we to expect or anticipate seeing a lot of them in these pressure games, or is it that Harmony will still entrust the responsibility to make the finals with their senior players?
It is going to be a mixture tomorrow. Definitely it's going to be a mixture. And because of the fact that it's a Sunday game and the game that we are going to win, we are just going to put out our best. Not saying that the seniors necessarily have to be the best players, but we are going to put out our best tomorrow, comes tomorrow.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
like the confidence.
Well, if the players are
As confident as she is.
half as confident as she is, then
Oh my.
I am pretty sure
We're going to do it.
Oh my.
Harmony will be in that semi-finals.
Alright.
You probably can't say that now because you don't have a Cooper Spain representative to match that confidence. But like Shelley says, it's the aggression and the desire
Yes.
to want it. So I look forward to that game tomorrow. I'll be watching at 1:30 for sure.
Okay then, sir.
Alright?
Thank
All the
you.
best.
All the
Thank
best.
you. Thank you.
Before you go though, quickly, I did say the last one. But as the administrator in me, I have to ask this one. Give me your take on the competition as a whole, the whole running of it, how the Trelawny Football Association has gone about the competition this year.
To be fair and frank, I think it is getting there. It's not completely there, but it has exceeded way past what it was at one point. And yes, I can say, we have a little itches with referees and the calls and stuff that
Which is not TFA, by the
which
way,
is
I have to
not
say
right,
that.
which is not TFA. And we're talking about the competition as a whole. But yes, I really admire where it's at now, and yes, I commend what is going on. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
You're doing a very good job.
We are. All right, thanks much.
Thank you.
That confidence is oozing through.
They're massive, massive. I tell you what, I know the game ended prematurely with them and Cooper Spain. I know Cooper Spain, based on the ruling I've heard, maybe without those 4 players, and some say they were a shadow of themselves in the game against Jacksontown without those players. But I feel they're active, maybe that's why they're not here now, but they're strategizing behind the scene, trying as best as possible to ensure that they find a way to give themselves a really good chance of getting past Harmony this time around in a game where it all matters for them. This is the game that decides their season, how it will go. I just want to, as I made wrap up my comments on that, just to also let you know, as the host, and you can choose if you want to have them on set. We do have the president of the Trelawny Football Association here now, and we also have I think it's the 3rd vice president who is also here. So Mr. Desmond Simpson, president, and Mr. Errol Smith, 3rd vice president. is here as well. So at some point we can invite them on.
I would not even give them any chance to, so they can join us with media.
Both of them can
because
join.
I heard some nice commendations
Okay.
from Harmony just now in terms of the way the competition is. So I'd like to let's see
Bring
if
them
we
on
can
set.
have
Yeah,
them
Mr.
bring
Simpson is a slippery customer. Yeah, so you might just see him here and then he's gone again. So you best you bring him now. And the council, it's good to bring the council. We can bring the council on set as well, Mr. Smith. He's parading in his Tottenham shirt. I'm surprised Mr. Simpson didn't come in his Chelsea shirt. These London clubs
And they won trophies this year.
Yeah, but I can understand. I do have my Liverpool shirt in the car, you know, so. Which we got the big title, the big one. So yeah, they're on set. So it's all yours.
Alright. Good to have you guys.
Welcome.
Yes. Alright. So I think Jeremiah did the introduction already. Desmond Simpson, president of the Trelawny FA, and Errol Smith, first vice president, third vice president. See, I'm looking to give you a promotion already. We had some good commendations. You were just a little bit short. I think that is because you were driving within the law. So if you were driving outside the law, you would know that you would get here too fast. You would hear those commendations from Harmony in terms of the competition being how it's been run, or it was run this year. And it's still ongoing, but in terms of it being better than it was years gone by, you must be excited about what we're seeing and how it is building into what Jeremiah described. How do you describe that? When you want to have that type of final, it wasn't super.
A mega
final. He said he wanted to have at the Trelawny Sports Company. But first, let's start with you, Desmond Simpson. In terms of the competition, are you proud of what took place this season?
Alright, let me first and foremost say thanks for having me here this evening. I am very elated. I'm going to wear many hats. I'm actually running from one job to be here tonight. And as you can see, still sweating, because when you run, football is a physical sport. And so is my work. You understand? So if you see me sweating a little bit,
hopefully in the future, Trelawny, we can have a makeup. Artists here.
So
I tell you what, the next time we might be having something like this, we might be in an air-conditioned atmosphere.
We were last year or something.
So that's exactly where we want to take it, So let me say, I have a good team around me. Whatever is being done right now in the Trelawny FA could not have been done only by myself, but also with the help of my competent staff that I have working with. You understand? We decided that we want to make changes to what has been happening over the years, and we can't be doing the same thing as usual. And this is one of the things that I want a lot of the teams to understand, that football is not just a game played on the field. Football has become a business. So until we realize that it is a business and we try to deal with it accordingly, we'll go nowhere. You understand? So if we want to go further in this business of football, then we have to do things different. You understand? So
And things have been done differently.
and things have been done differently. Things have been done differently. I didn't hear what was said by Harmony, as you said before, but before now there are a lot of teams, a lot of personnels would really give kudos to the management of the TFA for how we are handling the sport of football within the parish and by extension the major league competition. And our aim is just to do better year by year. At least when we leave it, we must say, if I were to leave it, we must at least leave a good footprint there that persons can follow or take the baton on and continue from there. But it's our aim to continue to make it better and better year by year.
And we saw a good product in the JPL this year, and it was brilliant. And we see quite a number of players from the JPL playing for getting into the national team for Jamaica, and also national teams around the Caribbean. I was looking at numbers this morning, don't remember exact numbers. And also if you look at Trelawny, Falmouth was very close to getting into the JPL, so it shows that something is going on well in the parish in terms of you're knocking at the door and looking to get in the JPL very soon.
And if you talk about things that are getting better within the parish, last year, Tier 2 playoff is a testament to that. We played against the Western Parishes, Westmoreland, Hanover, and the St. James. And our team that represented the parish then, Duncan's United, they came out overwhelming favourites in that competition. There was no challenge even closer to the closing of that competition because of how well prepared the Trelawny team was, and again it was because of the work that was put inside of our local competition. And it's our aim to continue doing what we are doing. There are parishes right now that with clubs that are playing probably 5-6 matches, and they are saying that they have a competition, and I'm saying that will never happen in July. You understand? At least
can't do much for development.
Can't do much for development. And Jensen and I were speaking with the competition's chair for JFF, and we tried to express that, to him, to let him know that what is happening in some parishes will never happen in Trelawny. And they have to look into that, because if they continue to play football like that in some parishes, then football will never be developed. You understand? So we here in Trelawny is going to ensure that we do what we have to do to ensure that the product of football is taken to another level, that when we go out there and represent.
Alright, so it's something we're looking forward to. We have the playoff tomorrow. Harmony playing Cooper's Pen, Holland playing Jacksontown, and looking forward to that tomorrow, and also semi-finals and that mega finals.
They talk about the finals being mega, but I tell you, from the playoff going right up to the final, to me it's mega. Yeah. The mega show starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes. That's really how I see it. You understand? Because I tell you, at this point in time, is win and continue, or you lose and go home. You understand? And I know there is no team presently that is left in this competition that wants to go home.
We heard some confidence from Harmony just now. They are not planning to go home. So let's see.
I mean, the ball will speak for itself.
And so Smith, have you coached before? I must ask.
No, I have never coached.
I want to ask you about the quality of play in the competition this year. I'm impressed in terms of quality of play. I don't know how much you know the tactical part of it.
He played Man in Cup, but it was way back. Man in those heavy leather balls. So I'm not quite sure how good he was, but he speaks highly of himself. So we have no clips to see, but maybe. I think he started his coaching badges, and he might be on my backroom staff soon, because he's looking to get a coaching job.
And the good thing about it, through the TFA as well, he has just completed, or a couple months ago, has completed his license. So, he's on a part of becoming.
The president also has completed.
I myself is also a licensed coach, so I'm looking to see probably which team might be interested in getting a coach for their side.
But before you jump over to Mr. Smith, though, just a quick thing with the president. And though we hear the growing thing from Harmony and yourself speak about the stuff that you've done, but they often have a saying that the best use of life is to do things with your life that outlast your own lifetime. You talk about leaving a legacy, our blueprint of where we should go. But at the current moment, we speak of the good things. What areas would you say you'd love to focus on to see improve going forward in terms of how TFA administers football in the parish, or areas that you'd want to focus on going forward?
I tell you something, from what I have seen, one of the main challenges we have in helping the development of football in parishes, it's lies primarily to me with some of these clubs. Clubs that are lacking structure sometimes give us more challenge in achieving our goals and our objectives. And I think once we can get these clubs to put together a proper structure, understanding the real worth or value of football, the sports of football, I think it will help us much better in making. I think also we have to ensure that we do more to bring about more sponsors on board, because with football takes cash to care, and football need more. The more persons that get involved in the sports of football, within the parish or even from outside the parish, then I think it can help us tremendously well going forward.
Yeah. And in terms of the quality of the competition, what do you think? What's your take on that?
Well, this was my first season of watching teams in the league, and I think there was a fairly good. There was fairly good quality football throughout. A couple of matches. I've watched every team, and I think that there is pretty good quality.
Yeah.
I expect that in another season or two, we should have a team or two.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. That's what we're looking forward to. Yeah.
That is our goal.
Yeah, and if I should segue a little bit into regarding community football, we know football is that bridge, a social bridge for communities, because it brings people together, and to have football in the community, have good structure, club structures in the community, and having the youths have something to look forward to, because we've seen a lot of youngsters playing in the competition. It must be good, especially we know what crime is in Jamaica, and if football can be that for them, distract them from all those elements, you know, community football.
Well, that's what the president said. There's so much that as an organization we can do. The clubs, the individual clubs need to so organize themselves that we can lift the thing to a higher level. The members of their club can benefit from the club, and then the club itself can benefit from us, because we will drive it forward, provided that they do what they need to do. They need to get structures in place. They need to organize themselves. We cannot have clubs saying that they can't register there. We can't get players on the platform. We can't have this. Clubs, that's the club's responsibility. It's not ours. It's not the associations. Yeah, it's not the association's job. Clubs need to take more responsibility. That is what I think.
Yeah, they have to be more structured, because the gangs and all of those people, they don't deal with structure. It's easy for them to pull people in. They don't have to register anybody on any platform. So I think they need to get certain things together so that we can not have these youngsters getting into that.
And if they're organized, the youngsters will stay in their space, because they know they're comfortable space to play football and enjoying themselves. They'll stay in it.
Yeah. Like I'm a teacher myself, and I know when you have kids engaged, then they don't have time for other things. That's the whole thing. Never find work for idle hands. We can't leave those spaces for them to be idle, and you know what will happen, especially even summer coming up. We have to make sure that we keep our players together, keep these youngsters engaged. So I think even after the competition, the clubs have a role to play in the communities. So I hope that that's something they can do to drive football forward. Jeremiah, do you anything you want to?
Yeah, quickly. I know he said it's his first season, and I have a two-part question. What's your take on your involvement with the Trelawny Football Association? Before coming in, there was a lot of things said. There was a lot of tension with stuff. And what's your take in your first months being a part of the association? What's your take on it? And secondly, I know you've mentioned it before, but before you came here, we had two females on set. Shelly and Taylor, and Shelly's one who was a striker. Taylor wasn't so much, she loves the sport, but she's a track athlete. But you've also spoken about women football and stuff, so what would you like to see going forward?
I would like to see a league for ladies. Younger, you'll probably start with the younger ladies, probably 13, 15, that age, and we eventually get a team into, because there's a Premier League for ladies.
There is a Premier League.
Yeah, so yeah, we get a team into that, and probably one or two players onto the national team. That would be a goal.
But your take on being a part of the Trelawny Football Association, as when you came in, as to now?
Yeah, well, before I came in, of course, there was a lot of things being said, and so I of course came in with an open mind. I think that things have gone pretty well. I think that things have gone. There will always be things that you can improve, but I think for this first season, well, it's not first season, but
For your first season.
my first season, yeah, it has gone pretty well for us. There are a lot of improvements that have taken place, and I get that kind of feedback from being on the sidelines on the weekend matches. So yeah, I think things have gone pretty well.
Good. But before I let you go,
Yes.
you're in your Tottenham shirt. I heard you let go of your manager. What's your take on that?
It's a disgrace.
After lifting your
It is
first
a disgrace.
And that's why I have this lanyard thing. They said the dust that comes across in Jamaica the other day, the health minister say you have to stay indoors, or if you have respiratory issues, you stay in because it's a Sahara dust. But I hear it's a Tottenham dust. From opening the cabinet, that the trophy cabinet, that didn't have anything for 30 odd years.
So it does blow all over the car.
Yeah.
You're a proud wearer of your shirt now.
I am a proud wearer of my shirt.
Alright.
Tottenham champions.
Okay.
But in addition to that, I must say,
Liverpool?
no.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about.
No. We're back on local ground. Right? We don't want to be blighted by the dust that has engulfed the atmosphere a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So we're still on development of football within the parish. One thing that we will be looking at also is developing football from the youthful stage. We want to start with the under 13 and the under 15, and then we want to ensure that soon after we'll ensure that all the clubs that are involved in Major League to have teams at these age level. And I think that is where the development of football will take place from those young age. You understand? I want to ensure it's one of the things that we tell ourselves that we have to get done is the development of the youths within the parish.
Yeah. We're looking forward to that, and we see a lot of youngsters playing in the competition.
There are a lot of talent in the parish.
Yeah, a lot of talent. So we're looking forward to that. I want to go back to looking at the games for tomorrow, but before we do that, we have Sam Marsh here with us, right here, Mike. I really would want to maybe have a word with Sam Marsh before we go to that second game tomorrow. So I know
The president can take his
the
leave.
president might
My time is so expensive. So.
Leave someone
Again, thanks for your time.
Yes. Thanks for joining us. And
It's a salt march.
Sam Marsh will join us.
Yes.
Play on the team. And you look so fit, like you're ready to when somebody go down, you're ready to jump out there.
And he told me, secretly he told me, and well, Brand staff is here. I don't know which position. Brand staff, the manager tell me sometimes it's itching for him to put on his gears again and get out on the field. I don't know if your position would be under threat if he was to do that. No. He's not good like a shoes lace.
The records are there.
Records are there.
All right, could you please just introduce yourself for the viewers?
So I'm Andre Williams, team manager for Marsh United team.
Yes, and we have
Tajay Brandstuff, midfielder.
top midfield.
Some would say.
Jimmy don't sound so confident at all. Maybe
he's one of them that does his
more than-
football,
yeah.
made the football talk, He's one of those, he says top footballer, but top midfield. I'm not saying he's top, but I think the perfect word with an adverb or adjective to describe him is a robust defender, midfielder, one which can be, it's one of those defenders that can get really, a midfielder that can really get stuck in, and if the game gets physical, he's one that can do for that. But if it needs finesse, then he can do that. So I've always been an admirer of his play, except when Holland plays.
So we have Sam Marsh finishing second and getting a chance to rest. I don't know if you have any niggles or anything, and you maybe have some time to rest and be ready for the semi-finals. Did you have any negative maybe wanted to rest and get? Oh, you like it that rest, that 1 week off to maybe get some rest?
Yeah, well, most of the players then get the opportunity to rest. Truthfully, it is important to rest. Even though we know the momentum is important, but the rest is also important. I would think the rest is even more important than momentum in this part of the competition.
And you might have teams coming into the semi-finals a little bit tired after playing today, tomorrow, coming in on Wednesday. So that would suit you quite well, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
All right. And manager, you must be excited after finishing second in the league. You know, good performance, only one loss to your record. You must, how confident are you guys? I heard some confidence from Harmony. Are you just as confident that you'll win the whole thing?
Yes, definitely. Before we came into the competition, that was our ultimate goal, to make it to the top two, to get a little bit of confidence and rest, and then move on to the field. Because we are not ambitious to play in Trelawny Major League. We want to bring our players to different parishes. So we are definitely confident, feeling we already achieved one of our first goals. So we are just in favor to continue to win the league.
I know you have, so you have your eyes set on getting into the tier two next year. Jerry, I don't know if there's anything you maybe want to
yeah, there's a number of things too. I know, was it Shelley or was it Taylor who selected one at South Marsh? So one of the overseas guests here was on our panel, selected South Marsh. I just wanted to find out, I mean, for your fans, what message do you have for your fans? I mean, she just flew in and she picked South Marsh as one of the teams that she'd love to see win it all. I mean, what message would you have, both of you or either of you can decide what you'd like to say to your fans? As a manager, as a player, what message would you want to give to the fans?
Well, come out and support us. South Marsh will not fail you. So far we have been great. We have lost only one game, which I think as a team it's good to feel defeat at that stage and not at the last stage. So for our fans, it's just to turn up on the last 2 days to support us, give us being that 12 man, to help us cross the line. And we'll give them something to cheer.
How are you, Grand Star, for your fans?
Well, continue to support us. You have been doing well so far, and we thank you guys, and we hope you guys will continue to support us. 2 more games, and we will be happy.
Okay. Go ahead.
You guys scored the most goals in the competition, so I suppose so that's far. What. So far. So far. So I think that's what the fans like to see. People love goals, and scoring the most goals in the competition is attractive to fans, and I suspect that's something they want to do to continue. Entertain the fans going forward in the competition.
Yeah, and scoring so much goals, the good thing about it is that we got goals from all over the field, even from a goalkeeper. So it's just to turn up on the day to support us, because goal will come from anywhere. It's not like you're going to say, oh, Branchop is a goal scorer, and if he's not on the field, we're not sure if we're going to get a goal. So getting so much goals that they have over there, 34 is a distribution over all of the players.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's good to see. And not conceding a lot of goals either, because only 8 goals conceded. So I suppose that robustness that Jerry spoke about
in the joint second best defense.
So you've been doing your work, and I suppose you want to do that over the next, you said 2 games, but for the next game, and let's see what happens if you get to the final.
Yeah, we will be at the final, and we have a good team, we have a good structure from the top, from chairman, president comes straight down, and everybody just pulling them weight, and everybody doing what they're supposed to do, and the team is just reaping the benefits of everybody pulling their weight.
Okay.
You know, the big question I'd love to ask too, he mentioned that he'll need the finals, right? And to get to the finals, you'll definitely have to win the semi-finals. And to win the semi-finals, you have to play a team, is either Harmony or Cooper's Pen. Now, I want the manager's take, and I also want the players' take, because the players at the park, so he would have played against these teams, he would have known them. The manager will be watching from the sideline. Persons always give what they think is the correct answer, which is say anybody comes. But which of these 2 teams you feel would give you a bigger challenge if you were to face them? I want to ask you which you prefer. I'm just saying which.
Second, because you're second.
You are, oh, you're second, yes. So, yes, Jacksontown. You're right. So, it's going to be Jacksontown or Holland. Is there any of these two teams that you feel I wouldn't say prefer to face, but I'm going to go another way where it's going to be tactical. You're going to say, I will play anybody. But you would have played these two teams. Which would you prefer? Not prefer, but would give you more challenge or would pose a bigger challenge for you based on the way you play and the way they play. Because sometimes, you have some teams who are the perfect match for a team. A team likes to go through the middle while you have another team that is really good at exploiting the flankiers. So sometimes it's the perfect match for a particular team. It's a team that they can't beat. Like in the Premier League, Arnett have a problem with Cavalier, and maybe it's just the way they play is the perfect matchup for them. Is there any of these two teams that you feel maybe I'd prefer not playing them, or they give us a different challenge?
Well, I think for both those teams, it's which one of them don't want to play style. But looking at it, we played Jacksontown so much time, so I know, and they haven't got that victory from us. So for sure, I know it will be difficult playing them. And then for Holland, with so much youths, they're very fit and energetic, so they're also gonna be a problem. So to be honest, both teams are really dangerous coming at us.
What about you? Okay, so what about you, Brad?
Yeah, so Andres, all of the teams in the semi-final have a chance. So we won't say we want to play anybody, because if you reach the semi-final, you really have a very good chance of winning the competition. So we just have to take any team we get and try to beat them.
I want to dig in it a little bit more. Jacksontown, they just sneak into the top 6. Good run of form in the last part. Momentum in their sail. We saw a couple seasons back in the Premier League in Jamaica have a view just needed on goal difference and went on to win the league. I mean, you see them as a very dangerous customer.
Definitely. And we know that they're a team for this stage of the competition. They love the excitement.
They have beaten finalists last year.
They're beaten finalists. They have a great fan base. Yeah, so we know they are really dangerous. So it's for us to just watch it tomorrow and prepare for anybody we get tactically. And also at this stage, it's not only about tactically, it's also about mentally. Yeah. So it's about that team that is mentally ready on Wednesday.
Okay, final burn star from me. That 1-1 draw against Jacksontown. And they're likely again to be an opponent. I mean, it was 1-0 against Holland, which means those two teams would have been teams that were close with Marsh. I mean, what would you take from the Jacksontown game that would probably concern you or stuff that you'd love to see your teammates do better to be able to get that win against them, because it was 1-1 in that game?
Alright, so goal scoring, even though we scored the most goals in the competition, I still think that we can be a little bit more clinical, and if we were a bit more clinical in both of those games, it would not have been so close.
Okay, so it's pretty much you not finishing off your chances.
Yes.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And you'll be playing at the Trelawny Multipurpose Stadium. How comfortable are you guys, playing there? If you won't be playing at your home venue, you're the player on the field. Tell me how you find that. That's the surface and all of that.
Well, as a player, you have to be adjustable. You have to be able to adjust to any surface. Because remember, sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it rains. You can't just go out there and just want it to sun every day, because if it rains, what happens? You're going to just go and lose. You have to just adjust to any surface again. So if it's sun, if it's dirt, anything, you're ready to play.
Yeah, and I know it's a good, even surface there, so it should make for good quality football.
And so much for this good quality.
All right, we look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday, and I like the confidence.
They're watching tomorrow as a spectator. I'd love their take on it. How are they looking forward to the 2 games tomorrow in the playoffs? And if they were to, if not for the Holland Jacksontown game, which they pick with, some would say, okay, that will indicate, would they want to think, based on what they've seen so far in the season, would they be so brave enough to suggest the teams that they think may come out victorious tomorrow?
No. Because at this stage of it, to be honest, it's not about talent again. It's who turn up on the day. Yeah.
Are you looking forward to the games tomorrow? You'll be at the game tomorrow? Games?
Because Andrew said, it's a mindset in a these times. Sometimes even look, So not even the best team no must win, but sometimes luck, sometimes just who work hard and who turn up on the day.
Well, those teams are listening and watching and pretty support. I'm pretty sure. So I think they'll take a lot from that. But yeah, that's what I mean with them. Yeah. In terms of maybe you want to, like we did from Harmony, get their perspective on the league this year. Yeah. The whole running, the aesthetic. Yes, there are bumps in the road and stuff, but just give your overall perspective. Whether you give it a passing grade, a failing grade, or an excellent whatever. I mean, both as player and manager.
Well, thus far it has been a great season from the start. We have had some hiccups and spoke about that referee, as FA said it's not on there. We still have room to improve. We still have ways to improve with youth and things like that. But it's been a great season thus far. For us, to be honest, we just wanted to be in the commission, to be a part of it. We're happy that the TFA accepted us and they helped us in whatever way they could. So it has been a great season. So it's just for us to let the trophy at the end. Yeah, that's really what we want from the TFA. So once we get that, yeah.
We can't hand it to you until you play for it. So you have that thing. First off, you as a player playing in this league, the hype surrounding it at times with stream games, but not just stream games, but the whole aesthetic of games with billboards around, the uniformity of teams in it, all of those stuff. How does that make you feel as a player playing in the league? I know your manager and yourself want to play in the tier 2 for sure, but was it a case where you were quite happy and anticipating playing in this league because of the whole aesthetic and the way that the league has run and the whole probably hype surrounding the league? How has that gone for you as a player?
Well, yes, definitely. And with the game that Marsh came in the league with to go into the tier 2, we know that we will be highlighted in the tier 2. So to get as much exposure that we are getting from now is definitely a plus. So when we go to the tier 2 competition, we will not be see it as something new, and we will be used to it already. So we won't get worse.
Good vibes. Love it. Yeah.
So I guess you're gonna get some more rest, watch the game tomorrow, and prepare for Wednesday. All the best. I look forward to seeing you.
All right, thanks.
All right. Now we have one more game in that playoff forward, and of course it's Holland versus Jackson. We have Jeremiah, but you're not wearing Holland hat tonight.
First they talk about wearing many hats, and I can tell you what, I don't know, I wear many as well. But no, not tonight. And the last time out, and I can afford to do that because I feel the wheels of Holland are turning nicely. I was thousands of miles away and the team performed well, which is good. So yeah, I have no problem seeing others from Holland stepping up to speak about Holland and the things that we've done.
And it's good that you're not wearing that hat right now, because I heard the fans calling for you to watch the game from on the bank up by the road, because they played better when you were away. So well done.
Well, you know what? The good thing about it is that the players have asked me to be on the sidelines again. So it's not the fans that I listen to. But no, I mean, it's a total team effort, and like Salman says, it takes the entire organization to ensure that it occurs. And I was quite pleased to be able to be away and to see it all unfold. The good thing about it is that even though I may be thousands of miles away, I'm still in contact with the team that is here, the management team, the coaching staff. We're still in dialogue. We discuss starts in 11 and stuff like that. So we're all a part of it. But it's good because you produce leaders and persons are able to do this stuff while you're away. So I'm not that far away tonight, so I'll be sitting across from them. So it's going to be even better for them to be able to do what they're doing. But no, I think they've done well. We've done well as a club, and it's good to hear from others within the club as to how things have gone on and how they look forward to tomorrow's encounter.
Yeah, and we are joined now by Holland player and also team manager. Firstly, just introduce yourself for viewers.
Kevin Clark, midfielder.
And
Mr. Barker, team manager.
Okay.
Funny enough that he introduced himself as a midfielder. No, he's a But you know what? I'll give him a props for the midfielder because he starts as a striker, but pretty much was a defender, wide player, but always want to be in the middle of the park. So it's probably not a team that maybe him get a little buy in there because the talent is there as much. So, but no, he's a good player. He's a good midfielder.
I know his quality from William Nib. But it should be an interesting game tomorrow. We are looking at a team that finished third in the competition in Holland United, going up against the team that is maybe the more informed team coming in with, as we said before, with Jackson making that late surge in the last few games to get into the playoffs, and will be coming with momentum. Firstly, how much are you looking forward to the excitement that is built up around the game because of that? And is there anything to worry about on your part?
Honestly, no. In the Holland system, there are things that we know what we're going to do. And as you said, the team is in form, which is Jackson Town. But in these moments, it's just what we're going to do. It's not like tactically, just maybe that we're going to come to produce on the day. That's what will get you through to the season.
Yeah, and the team, so Black Yellow, the team is the youngest in the competition. We obviously 13-year-olds out there for you. Playing in this competition, this is a big stage now for these youngsters. How much you think mentally are they prepared for these sort of moments?
Well, they're prepared because we give them that exposure early. So when they get to this stage, it's not new to them. Also, what we do is have players still young, but like a Kevin Clark here, who would have more experience. So Kevin Clark can help a 13-year-old because he would have been at that stage before. So it's about helping them as well, right? So the coaching staff help them to prepare the players that probably 21 thereabout can also help a 13-year-old or help a 17-year-old, but they would have gone through that stage before.
Yeah, I know I have the coach on my left hand here, but he's not wearing Holland hat tonight. And when we look at the teams in the top four and the goal scoring, Holland would have only scored 18 goals so far. I know you're not playing striker this season. You say you're a proud midfielder, but in terms of taking those opportunities and scoring more goals, and that must be something that you want to see. And if you were doing that, maybe you could have won over some of those fans, because we see, South Marsh winning over fans that are coming in to see South Marsh play on Wednesday.
Yes, football goes with games, but on the day, I think the fixture is most important in some cases. But then again, during the playoff, you have a chance to make it to the semi-finals. Just to keep ourselves focused, go out there, do our job, and try to make it to the semi-finals. Afterwards, at this point, we just need to be performing. It's not easy to do this. We want to push to finish out our chances and come on 3 points, move on to the semi-finals.
Jeremiah, not wearing color now.
Yes.
No. As a tactician on the panel here, these youngsters, a lot of energy, a lot of youthful exuberance, but in terms of the tactics of play, sometimes it's harder to teach that to the youngsters. What do you think about the way they have been progressing, and maybe the guidance from like Kevin Clark and all that?
Well, it's a lot of youngsters, and I remember Marsh just came off the set here. But I remember when we played Marsh, we lost that game. Holland lost that game a goal to nil. And the 13-year-old was touted as probably the player of the game by a member of the Marsh coaching staff, because the way he dealt with a player that they ended up having to shift from their right side to the left side to eventually take him off. So I think the youngsters that are there and are good youngsters. That is why they are in third position, because those youngsters would have done a lot for the team in taking them there. But it's interesting that Kevin Clark is here. I want to ask Mr. Blackella, how important is a player like a Kevin Clark in the setup now, and the amount of he cannot be seen as just a player now. This is a player that would have played. You spoke earlier about Trelawny having 1 or 2 teams in the Premier League. This is a player that would have played in the Premier League for Harbourview, and would have played also for Chapelton and Maroon. But even further than that, he would have also played in the Caribbean Club Championship for Harbourview. So, yes, not a very old player, not in his 30s, but would have had a lot of experience under his belt. How do you want to see him as a person, as a player, in the game coming up tomorrow? Not just his technical and tactical aspects, but what other things you want to see from a Kevin Clark?
I think leadership covers it all, and leadership starts not just when the game begins, but before the game. The timeliness of the players when they get to the venue, the time that we have lunch, or we prepare in the dressing room, just get them focused, to get the players focused, playing a playoff game that is a one leg, so I mean any mishaps and we are out, so we have to just prepare mentally. So just about getting the players ready for that game. I think that is where Kevin have to step up. Listen to the manager's work, because sometimes, I mean,
listen to players.
Yeah, they listen to players. They listen to players more, and they watch the example also. Because sometimes it's not about listening, about setting the example. As I've seen a person, if they come in and they say Kevin is doing the right thing, I mean, they just have to follow suit. They know what coming from the manager gonna be harsh on them, because if Kevin has a senior player doing well, and you as a 13-year-old coming and being indisciplined, I mean, they know what's coming.
Quick thing, you mentioned 13-year-old, and I want to follow. Kevin Clark now is being touted as the man to help offset some of the burden, which is the manager. But Kevin Clark would have been at Holland as a 13-year-old, going on to make the national team. Scored a hat-trick on his debut. But he was just a youngster in Holland, being guided by many. So Kevin, I want to ask you, how does it feel, run back in time as a 13-year-old, being around other seniors in Holland, now you are the senior person in Holland. I mean, how does it feel with that? How was that journey, and how does it feel now compared to then when you were a 13-year-old, and what would that have teach you to be able to help you now as a senior to help your youngsters?
First and foremost, I would like to say a big thanks to Holland United for making me clear that I am today. Starting out was fairly difficult because I wasn't a footballer at first, and decided I wanted to be, so I had to train, I had to work hard, and prepare myself game by game, day by day for this moment. And coming up through Holland, you know our playing style, you know what to do, you know right from wrong, because you see the players always lead by example, to show what you should do and what you should not do. So it's just like a no-brainer, like players gonna see how I react in training, how I train, I look at the pitch, training because I'm a player who firmly believe what you do in training, that's what you're gonna replicate in the game. So players normally grow up, see us doing the right, and then they follow the example. And that's it for them. Basically, just follow the senior players.
I remember just maybe less than a week ago, National talking about bringing Lovell Marsh into the setup for what he offers off the field, and just the environment in the dressing room. So you can see it at national level, and we know how crucial it can be. So it's good to have someone like a Kevin Clark in our Bomundi setup. I suppose we bring, and based on what I've heard from Lakadas, bring all of that, similar to what our national coach had to say about Lovell Marsh. So if you bring all of that tomorrow and add it to the tactical and technical ability of the team, I like to hear the confidence. I heard two teams come here very confident. How confident are you about getting the better of that informed Jackson Town tomorrow?
You can say informed. Okay, alright.
I suppose you're informed as well, but I mean, when you look at the late surge from them running in, getting into the playoffs, they have momentum behind them.
As I said before, it's what we do on the day, but tomorrow we know our focus, we know what the coaches want, we manage everybody, and the players, it's all 30 or 50 hours, the players in the trenches, they know what the team requires, and as long as we bring out that on the day, we know what we can do, we know what we're capable of. That's the reason why we're in the playoff at this point, because we have played to be here. It's not like it was given play for it, so we know what we should do. We're just going to be humble as we are, just get it done on the day.
Mr. Blacker, the same thing in terms of the game coming up against Jackson Town. Mr. Clark would not have played in the game that Holland played against Jackson Town. Holland would have won that game a goal to nil. And I remember that day it was more than even talent. It was a lot of fight and grit that was required on the day. It was a very thin bench, but a young squad as well. And I remember the 13-year-old had to go on the park by halftime to try and correct what an older player was doing that was not doing right. I mean, in terms of facing this Jackson Town team, yes, informed, but Holland United also based on their last run. How big is that win against Harmony coming into this tie against Jackson Town? And how important will it be the fact that you, yes, it's in the past, but how important is it that you would have gotten one over Jackson Town?
The win in Harmony game was huge. Huge in the sense that the teams in the top four, we haven't won against any of the teams in the top four. So going into that Harmony game, just that psychological advantage. You want that going to the playoff to know that, oh, I can beat a top four team. And also just looking at the season overall, Holland objective have shifted a little this season. Normally we focus on not just winning but developing youths over the years. But this year we shift the objective a little bit and decide that we want to not just win but almost make a statement. And I heard a lot of persons mentioning about youths and our energy and stuff like that. But Holland is not about that, because it's not about us youthfulness. It's about a particular brand of football that came a long way. So, I mean, we are like the Barcelona of Trelawny, put it that way. So we play a particular way, we play a particular style, but persons normally mention youths as if, oh, youths and their fit, and it's nothing like that. It's how we play. So going into that, I think they will see. I mean, playing them away is very difficult. It's always difficult there. Over the years we go to Jackson Town, it's always difficult. We have players that, with that set piece, I mean, trust me, they're just a different team at their own. But coming to William, I'm sure we will show more quality, with better pitch, behind, with home fans behind us. I mean, we will definitely show more.
In terms of you as a person, I know you're the manager of the team, but you would have played for Holland at an under 17 level as well, way back in the days. I mean, how pleasing is it for you? Because over the last 2 seasons, Holland has really been struggling in the league and really, having difficulty. Because for a long time, Holland would have dominated Trelawny for maybe 10-15 years. I mean, how difficult was it for you in those 2 previous seasons, and how pleasing is it now to see Holland among the big boys in the hunt for a title?
Well, it was difficult in the sense that sometimes you want to have a balance. A balance in the sense that you want to develop youths, but you also want to continue with it. But I think we take a hit, like we totally remove those objectives of winning and just was focusing heavily on youths. But I personally see growth this season. We have a crop of boys that we want to keep them together, and that's what personally for me, winning the major league, I think would be huge for them, knowing that continuation going into a tier 2. I mean, most of them probably finishing William Nib this year, and we have some players in the early 20s thereabout. We have some 13-year-old, 14-year-old coming through. So it's a good balance in terms of the age, the average age of the squad. And I think going into the tier 2, I mean, we can set ourselves a 3-year objectives and see how we can best capitalize and move on to that Premier League. So, I mean, it's about that. It's about that we have developed, but also I heard the president talk about football have become a business. I mean, nobody wants to be invested just to stay exactly where they are. Persons want to grow. I mean, after 3 years, if you keep on investing and in the same place, it makes no sense financially, it makes no sense in any other way. But I mean, we're looking at winning and we're looking at going on to tier 2 and really doing well.
And my final thing on this is Kevin Clark. You would have, as I said, mentioned, play for Harbourfield, play for Chapter and Maroons. These are Premier League clubs. I mean, how pleasing would it be for you to take your boyhood club to the second highest level in the country, just near to that Premier League which you would have played in before?
It would be a great push for both the club, parish, and honestly, it will be a feeling like finally making some progress. Honestly, I'm trying my very best. I'm pushing the team, coaching staff, and everyone to make it to the tier 2, as you said. But we're not gonna shift our focus. It's a game by game. So focus is tomorrow, and then next game, forward as we can. Focus.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and we've seen young teams, PSG, very young team, winning the Champions League, and we saw Barcelona, another young team, maybe one of the most exciting teams in the Champions
So maybe we
League.
should get a prediction from them.
Yeah.
And the manager tomorrow. Prediction of the game.
So,
Scoreline.
Football will talk tomorrow, so yes, we'll see what's going on.
How much? 2-0. The manager is old, he said 2-0. Play at the park, who knows the difficulty of it, says tomorrow we'll talk.
So we look forward to that. Alright. In terms of the league itself and the quality of the league, Dr. Lenny, you maybe want to add on that. After that, we heard teams talk about the quality of the league.
Well, I think the direction, I think the first thing in any organization, you have to have a goal, a vision, right? And going to meetings with the TFA, I am honestly impressed with just the vision of where they want to go. And as long as the vision is there and personnel work, because it don't take just the FA to make this work. All the stakeholders have to make this work. So I implore the sponsors to continue to support Trelawny Football Association, because it's not just a one season hit, right? You cannot just come in and it's a success in the first season. It's the same for the teams. I know a lot of rules and regulation, a lot of things have been new to the teams. The registration have been a problem for a lot of teams, and I mean, some of them are disheartened by, they cannot I mean, there are ways to look at it, but it's their advantage in the long run. It's their advantage in the long run. I mean, what happened this year, it can only get better next year. I mean, if you have 20 players on the system this year, I mean, going into the summer, it's your opportunity to get the next 10 on the system there. Put it that way. So, therefore, going into next season, you have 30 players on the platform, right? We have adequate time to look about passport. We have adequate time to look about ID. So teams that are out of it now, the invaders and teams, they can start preparing for next season.
And last year was good, so we are expecting that this year, in terms of the final result, will be good as well, and next year will be even better. So we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to tomorrow's game. It should be good to have those games tomorrow, and we will thank you for joining us. Look forward to seeing the game tomorrow, see how you guys progress 2-0, as you said. We'll take your word for it, and let's see. We'll see you on Wednesday in the semi-finals. All right. All the best for tomorrow.
Before we wrap up with it, yeah, they can go. What I'd like to do, Mr. Mosley, who was quite good to us to bring his family here and have them come on set. It was quite refreshing, Mr. Mosley, to have the ladies here. But we're going to bring you on set too, because you are not a VP of the Trelawny Football Association. Responsible with marketing as well. So we're going to bring you on set shortly. But we can bring you up with the representative from Jacksontown as well. So both of you can come and set. Jacksontown first, because they have big business tomorrow. Yeah. And Trelawny Football Association always have big business. If you're talking about the team with the late Surge and Big behind it. Yeah, so I mean, you can take your
first and foremost, you need to introduce yourself.
Brandy's our school from Jacksonville, player coach.
And as we said before, we have Mr. Mosley, Vice President of the Football Association. Now, Brandy's tomorrow. Heard you were right there on the sidelines, and you heard all the talk from Blackella and Kevin. They're looking to come at you hard tomorrow. You have the momentum behind you. Are you excited about this game tomorrow?
Excited. I'm excited to do it. We're going to make it, but I mean, nevertheless.
You're there. And they said, just like in I've heard some gamblers say, if you don't have a ticket, you don't have a chance.
But you don't have a ticket.
And you booked your ticket. When was it? Yesterday? Yesterday booked your ticket. So you're well in it with a chance. And you might just win the jackpot. So let's see what happens tomorrow. In terms of you started out a bit slow, and you got things together. The team looking good, coming in. What were some of the changes that you guys made? I don't know if it's tactical or personnel wise and so on, in getting things together for the future.
Well, I guess we started out a bit strong and then we get weak. I mean, first 3 matches we had several points.
Yes.
And then
before team.
We lose up a fight, and I think that's where we took a turn and affected the team. It was mainly a management issue with the platform. It kind of took me time for the team. Now we kind of find out the footage. I mean, in the finalists, I told the players at least the playoff. We can't move from final to not even the playoff. So we said at least the playoff, and we get to the playoff. And once you get to the playoff, anything can go. I mean, based on the fixtures, it's a new format, so I guess getting to the playoff will give us a big chance. It's me 3 good games out.
In terms of having good results in the past few games, so that's going well for you.
Well, I mean, we needed those points. We never have a chance. We never have opportunity not to have
to have a bad game. We needed the points, we get the points, players know what was in front of them, and we look ourselves in the playoff. Now we in the playoff, then we see what can happen from the playoff.
Yeah, and you know what's in front of you now. As I said, 3 good games. And I heard you have some very exuberant fans. Your fans, very excited, want to compel you into at least to get back to the final that you were last year. So you must be looking for tell me, what's your message to your fans that always support you through thick and thin?
Fans can come on, man. They know Jackson when they will fight. We always fight. So them can always come out and expect the team to fight.
Yeah. Jeremiah, I don't know if there's anything you may want to...
Quick thing to him. I know he mentioned about the points they lost. I guess he was referring to that possibly that Granville game. They fought hard and won that game, but lost it because of ineligible player with the platform. So I want to ask Brandy's. I know the difficulty and the association of which I'm General Secretary, which would have spearheaded this push to ensure that clubs have these things done. I know you'd have lost those 3 points, but at the end of the day that you're sitting here now in the playoffs, what do you make of that drive to ensure that clubs had the players on the platform, and would you say it ended up having Jacksontown in a better place now than before in the event that they were to progress to the Tier 2 playoff?
Well, we're in a better place if we should progress to the Tier 2 playoff. But in terms of quality of team, it put us in a real spectrum. I mean, we have at least 3 or 4 players out that cannot be on the platform when you attack because they don't have the documents. So, in terms of going to the playoff with players on the platform, yeah, but in terms of the quality of squad,
But you wouldn't have them for the playoff anyway, so maybe it's a good thing in the end that you have those players getting the experience who probably weren't as good as those, but they're now getting the time.
Well, yes, but we find it difficult. I'm very hard to make it to the playoffs, so I can't even agree to say, experience, because I mean, I lose 3 starters from last season final.
Difficult.
Yeah,
I can
hard for me
imagine.
to come here and say, yeah, them get experience. I mean, I would love if I'd have
Those players. I guess most teams are expressing the same thing, that not having. I guess I can safely say almost every team in the Major League now can point to a player or two that they don't have. As to the impact it has, then that may be different per team based on their strength. The next thing I want to ask you though, I mean, this is a feature game tomorrow in the playoffs, so it comes second because it's 3rd against 6th. It's form team against the active team now that is highest ranked. What type of game are you expecting tomorrow? Given that these 2 teams would have played before, they may look different. Both teams may look different from the team that played that lone encounter this season. But what type of encounter are you expecting in terms of technical, tactical, atmospheric, or physical? What are you expecting?
Well, I'm expecting a tactical game. I mean, Holland United have probably like 4 or 5 coaches.
4 or 5 coaches. Well, that's big. In terms of, is there anything that you take from your first encounter in coming into this game? Is there anything that you look back at and feel that maybe you lost that game but you were the better team, or maybe you lost that game and there are things that you really have to do better to get at this team? Or is it that these 2 teams are playing totally different than they played when they played the first time, so it's a lot different in terms of how these 2 teams will play?
Well, I mean, it's a playoffs, so both teams probably will be different. It's a big occasion, a big stage, so we can manage a big stage. But from the first game, I would say you have to put away your chances. Goal wins game, no matter how you play. If you're not scoring, the next side scoring, you're going to lose. So, I mean, going into this game, we have to just try to put away your chances.
Quick thing, and I will bring you in, but I have to mention to it, I mean, Jacksontown started well, 7 points from 3 games, so they are mass 14, which means that they played 12 games. So if you do the math, you're looking at 9 games that they got another 7 from. But they did what they did to get into the playoffs. I mean, quick question to you. I know you mentioned yourself, you introduced yourself as player coach, but I think you're player coach and possibly the manager and the organizer of this team. How difficult was it for you to get these bunch of players to really make this push in this last stage? And how pleasing are you with the response? And do you feel like you've finally gotten it right this season?
To be honest, I'm pleased with the result. I'm pleased with the attitude I'm getting from the players. But then again, we draw from the experience from last year. I let them know playoff push, trying to get to the playoff. We kind of stick and put our task on a aim from early out, probably with 4 or 5 games left, and I let them know that we will focus on Kinglass right now because Kinglass is in front of us. And once we pass Kinglass, then who's behind? It's behind. So we're just trying to get to the playoff.
And beside you, we have Mr. Moses. He was writing for the UN with the throwing. I realized he has smiled since we sat beside him because we knocked him out of playoff to get into it. I don't know if you have anything to be worried about sitting beside him and him not smiling.
But he did say a while ago that he had Kinglass in his focus. But I'm pretty sure at one point he had Invaders in his
right
focus.
after that, he had Invaders in his focus.
How difficult was it going into your last game, knowing it was a must-win? Invaders turned up into that game to offer support, I'm pretty sure, to Cooper's Pen. And you went behind to Cooper's Pen. So how difficult, but also in the same breath, how pleasing was it for your team's response?
I mean, the Trelawny Major League, knowing Jackson is a difficult place to play. So, in our last game, Jackson gave us confidence that we can get 3 points. If we were going away, probably it would be a little bit different, but you come into Jackson, it's always going to be a tough game.
I mean, I can speak to that because in 2006 when Holland won their first major league, they had to go to Jackson to win. It was a narrow 1-0 win that we got. And they're extremely difficult. So he's perfect about it. In fact, I can't remember winning 2 big at Jackson in my years as coaching. It's always a 1-0. My last 2 wins up there has been 1-0. So it's definitely a difficult place to play. And their fans are very vocal, so I expect them to be out in their numbers tomorrow as well. But my final thing to Brandy's here in terms of this is, like I've asked every other club, and I know it's good to have persons who are very critical of stuff because it keeps people on their toes, but at the same time I see him as an intelligent youngster who will give a fair judgment of things. So like we've done for other clubs, we'll ask him the same question, is what is his view of the Trelawny Major League, its structures, its running, and probably over the last 2 seasons in comparison with the years gone by, and the things that are good and the things that for certain would love to see improvement on.
Well,
and would you give him a passing grade or failing?
I think it's a passing grade so far from last season up until now. The only issue I have is the timing. If we get the timing right, it's perfect. I mean, once we get the timing, it's good. I have no issue with the league. I have no issue with the runnings. I mean, we get some sponsorship this year.
Do you specify timing to it?
I would say just the start of the league. I mean, once we get the start of the league, I think we got too late. And, sometimes we might be a rush or have a little issue with fiction. So once we get the start, it's a passing grade. I mean, stuff can always improve. But for now, it's good.
And I have to, and I take his suggestions when I'm TFA executive and your vice president and one sitting next to you, because Mr. Brandy's can be a difficult club person at times, or affiliate, let me put it affiliate, but a good one, because in any organization, persons like himself is important because it helps ensure that those who run the organization are kept on their toe and also are always mindful of the things that needs to be better. So for me, always good to have him as an individual who sees things that way, and so when he gives a passing grade, then it is a genuine assessment of what is taking place, and his suggestions are quite good. I have to say, in my capacity tonight as TFA personnel, I wish him all the best. If I were to put on my Holland cap and say something else, but I'm a TFA rep on this set, and I do wish him all the best. Jacksontown is one of the teams in this league that I can say will make an event, a day of football, a good one because of their fans, because of what they bring to the atmosphere of it. So, I mean, I expect tomorrow to be feisty, good atmosphere because Jacksontown will be in the host tomorrow. That is something that I know and they bring to the table. So I look forward to Jacksontown tomorrow, Brandy's, and hopefully fans will travel tomorrow. Are you expecting a big traveling fans tomorrow?
Well, I'm expecting travel maybe not big, but if we should get over tomorrow, then I know I should get in the big
It's a different thing.
And you won't have Mosley and his team supporting you tomorrow.
No.
You have to take your fans. But all the best for tomorrow. I look forward to seeing that feisty encounter between Jacksontown and Holland, and may the best team win on the day. Alright. That win last year tells me something, Jeremiah. But I know they're coming with something tomorrow. I think it's a good game, and I'm looking forward to it. Mr. Mosley, you have the man beside you who booted you from the competition. You can smile with him now. It's all good.
As a matter of fact, before this final match, I'm from property in Jacksontown. I have a farm here, so I arrived at the venue early. And I circled them, and as I went into the changing room, I said, Jacksontown, I spent a couple of years here. And I said, unfortunately, I don't want a different result. I talk after the match.
Yes.
And after football is such a game of emotions. As the zone being just open, and we went into the cross zone, and we started looking at the situations. And the team, we lost some games in the boardroom, and we looked at the schedule, and I told my team, I said, if we don't lose another match, and as we came down and we had 2 wins and 2 draws, and I looked across the board, and Jacksontown was over there. And there was always something about Jacksontown.
How did you game with Jacksontown go on? What was the result with the base at Jacksontown?
Well, we actually beat Jacksontown in Jacksontown.
Wow.
But I knew Jacksontown, you never count that team out. But we penciled in, I put a big asterisk beside Jacksontown and Salt Marsh.
Those are the big games for you.
That was the big games for us. So we was up 3-1 against Harmony, 5 minutes to 1, tied them on 2 set pieces. I was like, guys, let's see what happens over there. And when I got the result called in and found out that they tied Salt Marsh.
So you were expecting Jacksontown to lose the Salt Marsh?
To lose the Salt Marsh, and we beat Harmony and we'd be in. The last game was redundant. A good manager, a good coach, we go through that.
But Jacksontown had other ideas.
And they had other ideas. So, I mean, it's a testament to the TFA of the competition.
So are you upset a bit with Salt Marsh for not beating Jacksontown?
No, as a matter of fact, I came tonight and I sat down with Salt Marsh manager, and I said, hey, you didn't handle this.
As expected. As a top team.
Yes. And he turned around and looked at me and he said, but you didn't handle business either. You're 3-1 with 5 minutes to go and gave up 2 set-piece goals.
I wonder if you went by his farm and get some produce.
Yeah, to spice him up with that.
So it's a testament to the TFA and the levels that they have brought these teams on.
The last running was exciting, I think.
Even the last running. As a matter of fact, the last place team, like Spicy Hill, right? They had forfeited 2 games, right? So my team was there, and I was like, hey, 3 points automatic, right? And then they pulled up with a player short, and I was like, yo, what are you guys doing here? And you guys are forfeiting games. And they're like, you knocked us out the playoffs last year. I was like, what do you mean?
So
ask the bride. Yeah, but ask the bride. What are you talking about? That's last year's now. Why you guys showing up? You know, in the three.
Listen, man, when I saw the result with Jackson Town Invaders, yes, they lost, but I was surprised. 3-2.
2-0.
It was 2-0?
Yeah.
Oh, Invader Spicy on top.
Yes.
Invader Spicy.
Yes,
3-2.
and they fought like two.
With 10 players?
With 10 players. I thought they had extra people. I thought they spent people on the side. But it's a testimony to the level of football that Trelawny has. You know, we was looking the other day. After as a matter of fact, after the match, I asked congratulating Bradley. Said, he's telling me about the low number of games that played in Portland. Mm-hmm. And the low level of games also, number of games
in
that have been
Centre
played
and Hanover.
In Hanover and in these other parishes. And I'm looking at, I'm like, wow, we play a knockout. Even our tier 2 teams participates in knockouts, and we scrimmage each other. We have zone games, plus we have cross zone games. So when we go into these competitions, these tier 2 competitions, we talk about a football team that is
I think Brandy has touched it excellently in terms of if it's not about the farmer, is that if we can get the timing right. A lot of it had to do with sponsorship, but I think the TFA is hell bent on starting the Major League by January come next season. So in that way we get enough time to finish and don't have to rush stuff, and possibly, who knows, could be December. But we're looking at that, but he touched expertly in that the timing is what is required, because Brandy spoke about it, and we got a sneak peek view of what he felt like being in that last race, and I think he would attest to the fact that the format helped with the integrity of the league, because Jackson Town was at one time in 8th position, and to be with 2 or 3 games to go, that the team in 8th position still had a chance to make the top 6, to me ensure that integrity was in the league. And whether it was Spicy didn't have a chance, but he still had an axe to grind. Because and it turned up to try and make a game of it. So for me, Brandies, I just like to ask you, how good is it to see? I've been in Trelawny's league to see where teams that turn up guys in the 89 league and I'm not to play for. How good is it to see that the integrity of a league is kept intact because of the farm?
Pantan from Spicy, you'll see. I guess that player and said we get lucky because referee called off the game before the team reached.
So what are they? You would have tried to conquer all time? Even when they have a chance?
They have a chance, yes, he might try to kill in front time.
Carry some people with him.
So he planned to turn up on the day and him say, you'll get lucky because the referee to blow off the match already. So
good being taken.
With the playoff, you have a chance. As you can see, based on the standing, I would have a chance if it was just a regular format. So
it was a top 4.
Yeah. So the playoff, you have a chance. You have a chance, and if you get a run of game going based on but I would say the bottom half of the table not playing so well. If you hit the bottom half and you get a good run of games going, you might find yourself in the playoff. Just have to hope to some result on your ways. So
as far as you're concerned, leave the format as is. Just find the time.
The format is alright. As I said, once you have the time,
and I have to say to the viewers out there, the reason why we have pushed to draw the final to the 15 and get a little camp. It is JFF. We're still in dialogue with them until last night. We're in a meeting at the TFA office, and we had a dialogue with the chairman of the JFF competitions committee, where we are finishing on the 15th, but the tier 2 playoff is expected to start on the 15th still. But what they have given us the assurance is that the TFA, the Trelawny team game for the 15th will be pushed back to accommodate the winner. We are still trying to push them. As a GenSec, I'm to write a letter over the weekend, because the competitions committee for JFF meets on Monday, and they will table a letter if we can still yet get them to push back 2 games, which would help us to get the finals on the 22nd. And the reason we're still trying to push for that is that our major title sponsor want to have a massive impact on the final day in terms of the setup at the stadium and stuff, which the 15 is not affording it. And the thing with that is that the JFF has pushed their team forward in a sense. But we're telling them that, look, we run the risk of losing a $3.5 million sponsorship because of this timing. Because the sponsor won. The only thing the sponsor asked for is to give them the final day to set up. And I can give a sneak preview. What they were hoping to do was to set up a bar in a sense and have like a lounge, like a VIP lounge. But they would have like 2 or 3 big screen TV, and because Stream Sports would stream the game live, people could be in the bar drinking, not watching the field, or watching the game on the TVs. Those are the things that they wanted to organize, and other stuff on the final day that the 15 is not affording them. And they're not feeling good about it because they feel like this is something that they wanted back, because football has gone a stage where it is not just giving you money, and it's a business of it now where if me give something, I want something in return. I would understand that, which is what we're doing with. That's why whether Brandy's lose a game or not, if he lose, we still expect him to come stand up in front of the camera and give an interview, because the sponsors want the camera to zoom in on their logo, their brand, so as many times as possible. So I think Trelawny football and teams are understanding a little bit more of the whole marketing side of the football. So yeah, we're still pushing for that. At this time now, the final is the 15th, the semi-final is on Wednesday. I must say, on Monday night, if the JFF were to rule in our favor to give us a chance to push back 2 games for the Trelawny representative, we will have the final on the 22nd, which is what we'll be hoping for. And the semi-final would not be on the Wednesday, but would be then on the 15th, which would give teams time. So we're still trying to push for that, but at this time, it is the 11th and the 15th, but we're hoping for the 15th and the 22nd. So we still have a little hope. So I'll pen the letter as best as possible, as convincing as I can. But as Bandy says, if we get the timing right, and JFF can adhere to their timing, because part of it, Tier 2 was supposed to start the last week of November. It didn't start until the last week of January for JFF. So they too move, they shift the goalposts as well. But now they're pushing us for timelines, and I'm saying to them, it can't be just the timeline, it's about quality too. And they talk about Portland playing 3 weeks of football, and over maybe 3 weeks, Westmoreland just send a team up without playing. You know? I mean, it can't be just timeline that you use as a parameter to judge whether or not things are organized. 12 games played. It probably would have been more, but 12 games played. It's a bare minimum. The league won for 4 months. And I said to JFF chairperson, you need to stipulate in parish that the league should have a minimum time frame to ensure we have good quality. You know? Yeah. So it's good. So that's what we're trying to do. So hopefully if that comes off, it will be good. But I tell you what, Jacksontown just made the semi-final, or the playoffs. If they just make it, that is it. Because I'm wearing a TFA hat. And I want to go to the point that you talk about how of you winning the Premier League just making this thing. And I keep saying it. My first Major League as a coach, I just made the playoffs in the semi-finals at the time. It wasn't a playoff, semi-finals. And it was Jacksontown that I had to get 2 points from, but I couldn't get 2, so I had to get 3. Lance Lang scored a winning goal. And just like that, Invaders turn up. It was Kinglass who turned up, because if I knew it was Kinglass, would have gone in the semi. I won. I went to play Salt Marsh, the top team. I beat them 1-0 in the first leg, 0-0 in the second leg, went on to the final and beat Ronville 3-2 in the final. Jacksontown just made the playoff. So it's always a team that you have to be mindful of when they come in with the momentum, because they have nothing to lose and they have everything to gain. So it's good and I like it. Despite I am associated with the Holland, I like the whole undercurrent or headline coming into this one with a Jacksontown Holland. And I just feel like for the product of football in the parish, I think that game, not taking it away from Harmony Cooper's Best, I think that game has the potential to be a great advert for football in the parish. Yes. And across the table there are players that play for Jacksontown, that started out at Jacksontown, came to Holland, went back to Jacksontown. So there's a lot of undercurrents and other little plots in the game that can make that game very interesting to you. And Brandy can rest assured that as a player coach, I would advise him to stay on the sideline, because And the field is not going to get any love loss at all. I don't know whether I'll play as a striker or defender tomorrow, but we're very pleased. It's going to be difficult for him, I suspect. But that's the final thing for me. But I'm looking forward to the games tomorrow. And I'll leave it to you, host, and the other teams to just give their last bit on it.
Yeah, I know Brandy's is up for it. Have his game face on.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that exciting encounter.
Final 30
tomorrow.
seconds for each of them to just say their last bit.
And just to give you a take, what to expect tomorrow. I know we touched on that a little bit.
The fans can turn out. They can turn out. Jackson will be fighting, whether on or off the field. We'll be fighting for the spot in the semi-final.
Yeah. And some of the
Yes, we continue to improve and raise the bar level of football in the parish of Trelawny. You have to look far and wide in other parishes to find one that have risen to the level of Trelawny football.
into the thoughts this time.
We're talking about a parish that was on, we made the news for the wrong thing.
Life support.
Sanctions from JFF. And when you look at the Trelawny teams now, the ones in the tier 2, one just missed the bar to making it back to the GP.
But barely missed it.
And we're pushing. You know the TFA was serious when they came across as the board and became licensed coaches.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I mean, we have a VP that's our counselor, our lawyer. When you see him run out on the field in his Tottenham shirt, right, and becoming a licensed coach, you know that they're dedicated and serious about raising the bar level of football in the parish.
So it's a
So
good look.
soon as very soon, one of our main objectives is to put back a team to get back our seat at the table where it should be.
Yeah. And that's the objective, and I know it's edging closer. Falmouth will be edging closer again next year, and I know that we have Duncan's making a search for it, and whoever wins in this major league will be pushing as well. So we're looking forward to that. Viewers, please come out tomorrow. Exciting encounters for you tomorrow. So join the team, join the excitement, join the battles that will be on the field. And we have the semi-finals and finals this week. We're keeping our fingers and toes crossed, though, Jeremiah.
We could get
that we
that
can
next
have it a bit pushed back. But thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at the game tomorrow, and we look forward to seeing you at the semi-finals and finals. We'll join you again to have more discussion after on the semi-finals, after the game tomorrow. So thanks again. I'm your host, Cavalli Arnold, and we have Jeremiah here. We'll see you again.